Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this Thursday evening. Now, before we get into the news, we do have some exciting announcement as NTV is turning 3 years old on the 8th of February 2025. And to celebrate this milestone, we will be having the NTV Annual Awards happening on the 12th of February 2025. So tune in onto our channel to catch a night of glamour and glitz as we celebrate entertainment, news, sports, and so much more that happens on the NTV channel. I'm your host, Glenna Rashipora. Let's get into the news. Johannes Kgabagab, the governor of the Bank of Namibia, gave the keynote address at the official 2025 Bursary Awards ceremony on Thursday. He added that 11 students received bursary awards in the fields of economics, data science, mathematics and statistics, and industrial engineering. Patricia Coutier was there and gave in this report.
Over 2 decades, the bank have committed to this mission, ensuring that bright, determined students, regardless of their background, are given the opportunity to reach their highest potential. And today, we reaffirm that commitment. Education is more than an individual pursuit. It's a national imperative. In an era of global competition where knowledge and technology drive economic success, Namibia must ensure that it's not left behind. Each bursary awarded today is more than just financial assistance. It's an investment in a generation that will innovate, problem solve, and lead Namibia into the new era of progress. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bank of Namibia awards bursaries in the fields of economics, data science, mathematics and statistics, and industrial engineering to deserving and qualifying students. These are key areas that align with the bank's mandate and the evolving demands of the Namibian labour market.
The Namibia Meteorological Service, in collaboration with the Office of the Prime Minister, has issued a warning for moderate to widespread thunderstorms in parts of northern, central, northwest, Oshogbo-Njupa, and Commerce regions. Flash floods are also expected in some areas. Areas at risk: Zambezi region. Flooding is common during the rainy season due to the Zambezi River. Kavango East and West regions prone to flooding because of the Kavango River and flat terrain. Kufule, Etosha Basin, Oshana, Ohangwena, Musati, Oshikoto, seasonal flooding, and Oshana's shallow floodplains pose risk. Precautionary measures: flash floods, avoid crossing flooded or fast-flowing water. Thunderstorm, seek shelter indoors away from open areas, tall trees, and metal structures. Wet structures: be cautious of overly wet buildings that may collapse. Slippery roads: drive slowly and avoid speeding. Poor visibility: do exercise extreme caution while driving. And livestock safety: keep animals in secure shelters. Disaster risk reduction recommendations, which are local authorities should clear drainage systems and ensure flood control infrastructure is functional. Flood alerts should be disseminated to at-risk communities via all media platforms. Emergency relief supplies should be pre-positioned in flood-prone areas with evacuation plans ready. Now, the traffic sector should advise the public on alternative routes in case of disruptions. Severe thunderstorms and flash floods expected in multiple regions. Moving on to our next story, the Supreme Court on Monday, the 3rd of January 2025, during a status hearing, decided that the hearing for the presidential election dispute between Independent Patriots for Change President Panduleni Itula and President Nangolo Mbumba, the Electoral Commission of Namibia, and others will take place on the 10th and 11th of February 2025. Now, the Red Force Debt Management is contesting the Henties Bay municipality's decision to terminate its contract effective the 31st of January 2025, saying the action violates the wind-down period clause of the signed contract. The municipality's acting CEO, Ignacia Nays, told Namibian Sun that while the contract was initially set to conclude on the 17th of January, the transition was extended due to the necessary system and software handovers. In an official letter last month, Nays said Red Force would no longer represent the municipality for debt collection purposes. The council advised residents and businesses to avoid any dealings with Red Force regarding outstanding municipal payments. However, Red Force, in a letter dated the 5th of February 2025, formally contested the termination of its contract with the Henties Bay municipality, citing a clause which states that upon expiration of the contract, the company is entitled to continue debt collection services on a non-exclusive basis for up to 12 months as part of a wind-down period. The company argues that the municipality's issuance of a termination notice on the 31st of January 2025 is a misrepresentation of the legal agreement and a violation of the agreed terms. In the legal letter addressed to Nays, Red Force attorneys demanded an immediate and unequivocal retraction of the public notice terminating their services, threatening urgent legal action should the municipality fail to comply within 24 hours. They also accused the municipality of acting in bad faith by creating a false and deceptive narrative regarding Red Force's contractual status. You can, of course, read more on this story and so much more in the Namibian Sun tomorrow. Now, that concludes our top stories. On the other side of the break, we take a look at our story of the day.
Slow internet should be a headache of the past, yet many Namibians have connections that just aren't fast. We have a solution that might set you free. It's called Mobile LTE, and it comes with real speed. You'll enjoy up to 50 megabytes per second from just $300 Namibian a month and free internet browsing after midnight till 6. When it comes to staying connected, this is it. Visit Paratus.Africa/Namibia or our branches nationwide and experience the thrill of better internet with Paratus by your side.
Always prepared, Paratus.
Getting into our story of the day, the official opening of the Electronic Information System Management Advisory Council retreat and planning session was officiated by the Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Amateur Fellows at the Windhoek Country Club. The retreat seeks to foster discussions on the implementation of the Electronic Transaction Act in its entirety and culminate in the development and adoption of the Council's action plan. EISMAC has been appointed, inaugurated, and gazetted to exercise the powers and perform the functions conferred on and assigned under the Electronic Transactions Act 2019. Micheline Nawatisis gave in this report.
Going onto websites and being conned or scammed, the trust is eroding. People are fearful to actually go into online spaces. People are fearful to actually explore new avenues on the internet. And that's not good because opportunities are passing many of our citizens by if they continuously are scared on how to navigate online spaces. Awareness on how they can be safe, awareness on how they can properly protect themselves on online websites and mobile banking apps, digital literacy to ensure they can not click on funny looking links or be wary of websites or emails that do not look real are more important in ensuring we are safer online. Unfortunately, there are things we cannot take away at this point. I can give an analogy. Cars are very, very, very convenient, vehicles to move from one place to another. However, we have seen on our roads they take a lot of our lives. But because of the dangers that come with driving a vehicle and being on our roads, it does not necessarily mean we have to do away with the car. It would impede, it will cripple many of the things we do today. The only thing we need to do is adapt safety regulations and behaviors that will keep us safe. The same with online spaces. At this point in time, many businesses, in fact, sections of the economy depend on the Internet of Things, depend on digital services. And it's only a matter of time until where we continuously have more services moving online. But because it's not safe, it does not mean we do away with it. We can only teach those of us that are around us to be safer, teach them digital literacy skills to ensure that they actually get the best experience out of online experiences. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the Council must ensure that initiatives are inclusive, practical, and responsive to the needs of all Namibians by taking a multi-stakeholder approach. Your work has tremendous impact across many sectors. Like I said earlier, it is essential to break down silos, collaborate with key stakeholders, and engage them to ensure that your efforts are well informed, responsive to the needs of our citizens. Your goal must be to create a seamless experience with electronic information systems in Namibia. Agility is key. Regulations should support innovation rather than stifle the adoption and the use of technology. Your work is not just technical, it requires practical, solutions-driven interventions that enhance accessibility, efficiency, and above all else, trust in the digital space.
The Namibia Financial Institution Supervisory Authority this morning launched its new website. In our economic news segment, we take a look at this.
NTV Awards 2025. These are your nominees. Show of the Year. Viewer's Choice Presenter of the Year. Lifestyle Show of the Year. Public Affairs Show of the Year. Sport Show of the Year. Sport Presenter of the Year. My Zone Show of the Year. And Chill Personality of the Year. NTV Awards, celebrating creativity, dedication, and impact.
Getting into our economic news, the Namibia Financial Institution Supervisory Authority this morning launched its new website. NAMFISA CEO Kenneth Matomola described it as a one-stop shop and says it makes it easy to find information and file applications about the regulator's activities. Let's take a look.
The revamped website stands as a testament to our dedication of operational efficiency, transparency, and accountability. It is now a one-stop resource hub where you can effortlessly access regulatory updates and compliance guidelines, which includes the licensing and legislation. You can explore key publications that includes our business plan, quarterly bulletins, and annual reports.
Next up is our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.15, against the euro at 19.29, against the US dollar at 18.57, to Namibian dollars and 55 cents gets you one Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, gold, copper, and platinum went up, while Brent crude oil went down, trading at 0.03%, going for $75 and 25 cents per barrel. On the other side of the break, we take a look at our international news, where Africa's top health official presses the U.S. for health aid to resume. We get into this after the break.
NTV's second annual awards 2025. This is how you can vote for your favorites. Save Synergy chatbot number +264 85785 6231 and send hashtag NTV Awards 2025 on WhatsApp and follow instructions. These are the categories you can vote for. Viewer's Choice Presenter of the Year: Precious Ngitaunapo, Toivo Njebela, Joe Marie Dadi, Aina Kweyo, and Brian Munango. Chill Personality of the Year: Miss Gideon, Jericho, DJ Vuyo, Captain Swazi, and P-Star. Voting closes 8 February 2025.
In our international news, Africa's leading public health official will write to the U.S. Secretary of State today to highlight how the U.S. aid freeze is threatening the lives of people across the continent and efforts to contain disease outbreaks that could ultimately impact Americans. Jean Kaseya, head of the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, will raise concerns with Marco Rubio about the impact on patients with diseases like HIV and the risk of Mpox pandemic, also fueled by conflict in the Eastern Congo, he told Reuters. When I got information about the pause, I was alarmed, Kaseya said. How can we respond to all of the ongoing outbreaks if we don't have funding? Kaseya wrote to African leaders over the weekend, warning that without urgent intervention to plug the financial gaps caused by the U.S. freeze and other governments cutting aid budgets, there could be an additional 2 to 4 million deaths from preventable diseases a year on the continent. This pause will not just affect Africa, but also the U.S., he said, warning that disease outbreaks will spread further without fully funded efforts to stop them. The conflict was also threatening the health response in parts of Africa, Kaseya added, which he included in both letters. Fighting in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has impacted the Mpox response, as well as measles and cholera outbreaks, he said. For example, millions of doses of Mpox vaccines, including doses donated by Japan for children, are stuck in Kinshasa because of the security situation in Goma. We now take a look at the weather predictions for tomorrow. The capital city is still expecting some showers with a minimum of 19 and a maximum of 29 degrees Celsius, while Katima Mulilo can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 19 and a maximum of 32 degrees Celsius. Rakana can also expect some showers along with Oshakati, Enana, Rundu, Tsumeb, Oshwarongo, Omaruru, and Hobabes. Oranjemon can expect sunny weather with a minimum of 15 and a maximum of 26 degrees Celsius, while Handys Bay can expect some showers with a minimum of 18 and a maximum of 22 degrees Celsius, and Rehoboth can also expect some showers with a minimum of 19 and a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius, while Walvis Bay can enjoy partly cloudy conditions. We will be getting into our sports news shortly.
Slow internet should be a headache of the past, yet many Namibians have connections that just aren't fast. We have a solution that might set you free. It's called Mobile LTE, and it comes with real speed. You'll enjoy up to 50 megabytes per second from just $300 Namibian a month and free internet browsing after midnight till 6. When it comes to staying connected, this is it. Visit Paratus.Africa/Namibia or our branches nationwide and experience the thrill of better internet with Paratus by your side.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Getting us right into our sports news. Defending champions Angus Ladies FC are on a mission this weekend in the FNB Women's Super League. They are set to take on the Power Angels on Saturday and Okahanja FC on Sunday. Both matches kicking off at 11 a.m. at the NFA Technical Center. Now, Coach Shama Gure is keeping a close eye on injured players, hoping to field a strong squad as they aim for 6 crucial points. Now, in some exciting news, history made in Croatia, Namibia's indoor hockey teams are making waves at the FIH Indoor Hockey World Cup. The women's team secured a historic quarter-final berth, while the men kept their knockout hopes alive with a thrilling 6-3 victory over Trinidad and Tobago. Dakota Hansen, Jean-Paul Brits and Nico Nithling were the heroes of the day, sealing the win with a stunning second-half performance. Here is an interview with the team coach.
Right, with us we have Shane Cormack, the Namibian women's coach, beating New Zealand 7-0. So your thoughts?
Yes, well, just off the bat, I want to dedicate this win to all the coaches in Namibia that have gone before, that have helped these girls get to where they are. I've been involved with them since a little bit. The last year I've had them. And I want to dedicate this to Cedric, to Melissa, to Owen, all that have gone before. Just want to say well done to them too, because they put in a lot of hours and a lot of work into these ladies, and this is a unified effort. And you know, when there is unity, God commands a blessing. So I think that's what we got today. Our number was always 7 when we came into this tournament. It was about unity, it was about completion, it was about trust. And today I just feel like the Lord came through for us, because our nation is so unified, and this win was for everybody at home.
Fantastic. And it's your second win in a row, and you're into the quarterfinals. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm ecstatic, because that was the first goal. We wanted to beat Australia, wanted to beat New Zealand, maybe have a bit of fun against Germany tomorrow and see what we can do. And then obviously we wanted to get to the quarters. So now the tournament starts all over again for us, and we're going to have fun seeing where the Lord takes us. Yeah.
Right, and it's history, the first time for the women in the quarters. But this team, do you think they can go far?
Well, they've got so much heart and belief in each other. So, you know, impossible can happen. So I'm really proud of them. I'm so grateful that I didn't have to stress. You know, the last one when they took their keep off, I thought, oh goodness, here we go again. But we had a game plan for that as well, and they executed it beautifully. So I'm really proud of the girls.
Well, that's right.
Thank you, guys.
Now, for the rest of the sports news, we will now head over to the sports desk, proudly brought to you by Sportsrap.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with football news first. It is from the Carabao Cup in English football, and big news for Newcastle United. They're into the final of the Carabao Cup, and that is after they beat Arsenal by 2-0. That was in the second leg. The first one they also won 2-0, so that was for an aggregate of 4-0. They will go into the final against either Liverpool or Tottenham Hotspur. So a big result for Newcastle. They haven't won any major title since very long ago, 56 years ago in fact, and it is last time they won a title was in 1969. It was first Jacob Murphy that scored for Newcastle. That was in the 19th minute of the game against Arsenal, and then also it was Anthony Gordon that scored in the 52nd minute to really make it sure for them to be in the final of the Carabao Cup. Moving on to rugby news, and it is Six Nations rugby that will continue this coming weekend in Europe. Big game coming up on Saturday, that is in London, that is England, that will host France. And both teams having selection challenges at fly-off. Seems like Marcus Smith, that normally plays fly-off for England, he will be at fullback for the game against France, and that means that there's a new fly-off, and that will be Finn Smith for England. Also, it is the coach of England that's under pressure. It is Steve Borthwick. It is England that have lost 7 consecutive games against Tier 1 teams in World Rugby. So all of them have been close results, but they want to beat France to get that win behind them. Also, France battling in terms of fly-off, it is Romain Ntamak. He played fly-off for them against Wales, but he was suspended. He got a red card in that game, a dangerous tackle against Ben Thomas of Wales. He was suspended for 3 weeks, and that might be reduced to 2 weeks if he attends a workshop that is of World Rugby, and that is an interim program that he needs to attend. Then he might get a ban for only 2 weeks. To close with today's international sports news is Formula One racing news, and the news from the Ferrari team is that China's Zhou Nguan, he will be the test driver, one of the 2 test drivers or reserve drivers for Ferrari in the season in 2025, and it is the 2 top drivers for Ferrari in the season will be Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, and the first Grand Prix of the season will be on the 16th of March, and that will be the Australian Grand Prix. Guano was a race driver for the Sauber team in the 2024 season. He was with them for 3 years, but he lost his position in the race team at the end of last season. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
That was Ari Hohart with the rest of the sports news. And with that, we have come to the end of the broadcast. Do make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneup2.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every Monday to Thursday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenna Rashipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.